Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest edition of the Plus3 Futures and Commodities show. My name is Ben Maldonado, and I'm here with my partner, Barrie Hederachi. How are we doing today, Barrie?
Doing pretty good.
First quarter already gone, April 2nd today. Hard to believe, huh?
In about a flash.
Unbelievable. Today's show, we're going to have our usual format. I'll start with Bitcoin, which you can see on the screen here. I'll throw it over to Barrie. He'll cover the big five markets, which are, ES, bonds, gold, the dollar, and crude, and the euro as well. So he's going to cover those. Then he'll throw it back to me and the markets I'm going to be highlighting this week. First, I'll start with NQs. Then I'll go with gold, silver, natural gas, sugar, and coffee. And when you come into the site to see the videos, know that they're indexed on the bottom, so you can jump right to a particular segment if you want to hear a particular segment, or if you're listening to it again and you want to jump from one segment to another, you have the ability to do that. So let's start off with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, as we have said for the last, 3-4 weeks, we thought it was bullish based upon the higher lows that appeared in this, triangle, in this structure here that we've been in since January. This past week, we pushed up, and look at where we came back on this pullback, man. This is a perfect test of the triangle breakout, held, reversed. To me, it looks like there's at least one more push up in Bitcoin. The other thing that I was noticed that we were talking about before the show is the cycle, which is 69, 70 days, is coming up in the next 2 days, 1-2 days. So I think everything's sort of converging that we're going to get at least one more push up. Can we make it up to the half square here, around this 51.2, 51.3 area? I don't know. We'll see. But I do think the weight of the evidence is for higher prices in Bitcoin this week. What's your take when you look at the chart here?
Well, I think the retest was pretty much textbook, and there's probably a little bit left. It would have been nicer if we could, it'll be nice if we could go up and tap the half square, at least for this leg.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if we can tap the half square, get stuck under it right in this cycle time, when this count is up, it might just be like the perfect short setup on this thing. So We'll see how it plays out this week.
Yeah. I think for now, long as it's above that full square, right under, right there, I think it's in good shape. It's stable.
Yeah, and all the levels that we talk about on all the markets we cover, in addition to the, all 15 or 20 markets that we watch, are on a spreadsheet that we update every week. When we post the video, the link for the video, we'll post the link to that spreadsheet as well. Let me throw it over to you, Barrie, and let's go through the big five and see what you see this week. There's the E-mini.
Okay, let's take a look. See what we
Man, your timing stuff was really good this week.
Well, I tell you, it looks good. And this timing that Ben's talking about would be that 90 high to high and this 45. And also we have a 30 count coming off the low. And usually that could call out a high. And we talked about that last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, a potential CIT window that would be change in trend. And we had we had two levels we were watching last week. We were watching this 45.60 and 46.30, meaning that we're firm about 45.60, and then 46.30 being pretty good resistance. And we tested that for a couple of days, and we turned down.
Barrie, I got to call this out, man. Every single week you're posting these levels, and they are just rock solid. Look at that high. It came 46.30.
Yeah.
That's just great work. Really, really good work with your levels.
Thanks, Ben. Hey, that's what we're doing shows for, right?
Right.
No. So yeah, thanks. The levels have been working out. at least so far. So we'll see how that goes. For next week, we're going to have to get rid of this 45.60, and we're going to focus on this 46.30 is still a key level to watch. And for the downside, we had this box drawn up sort of as a support resistance zone. It's sort of a key balance area zone, I would say. And this 44.50, 60, that's the area down here. The idea for next week is to see if any kind of a push up, meets resistance. And if it does, and we come back to test this zone, the key is, are we going to hold this or not? If we don't hold this zone, I would say it wouldn't be, we could go and test lower levels in a heartbeat. So there's a lot of
it would give you greater confidence that that high we just had is in for the swing, right?
Well, I think, just between us, I think that high is pretty good. Mainly because we had the timing and it actually reacted. So now the question is to really see, how is it behaving intraday? And so far it was okay, but I'd like to really see this level get taken out.
That 44.50 support.
Yeah, that area getting taken out for a bigger leg down, right? The thing here is if we take this out, there's a potential we go down and make new lows. So it's a big deal. Yeah. And if we hold above it, it's possible that we consolidate next week and then figure something out afterwards. But far as the high goes, I'm pretty confident that should hold next week. But we'll have to see how the support holds also. So I'm not expecting a lot. If we find support here, we're probably going to consolidate. If we take this level area out, then I think, we're back in action and we could probably get a nice move down.
And we got some cycle timing this week. April 6th is a date that you and I have been watching and waiting for, and that's coming up. So we'll have to see how price acts going in and out of that date as well.
Right. So yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. And in the meantime, I've been posting this 4-hour chart. It's the S&P, and I think we've been looking at this during the last few shows. So and I set up these equilibrium lines after that first low came in up right there in end of February.
It's been fantastic.
It's been really, really helpful. This zone was the first one. Well, first one was this check back, telling us it was bullish. Got up to here, first resistance, then we broke out, check back to the zone, and again, we're bullish. And then we grinded through here for a couple of days, and the next level was up here. And well, it held it. And now we're back, guess where? Back on the XB line.
Which is the very important line.
Which is a very important line because this is the key, right? If we take this out next week, Monday, Tuesday, first couple, even Wednesday, then it really opens up the downside, and if we can hold this, then I think we can probably go up and retest or do something like that, do a sort of grind up at that slope.
Where's that line right now? What's the value of that line? Right around 4,500?
It's right around, it's 45.02. So it's right there. Basically take Friday's low, right? So if we take that out by much, then we're probably going to go. And this zone here really doesn't count now. That's why I'm not extending the box. That was only for that time period. So now we're over here. So I'm not looking for that to be support. It's probably going to be, straight down into, it's a new cycle, so new territory. I just wanted to show you guys, that this is still working, and we'll use it till it stops working. So far, it's been okay. Going back to the daily, it's really watching Friday's low and this 45.5 zone. That's really the only areas to watch next week. Let's take a look at the weekly S&P. We had 3-week counter trend and reversing the last couple of days. So we're watching, Friday's low is what we're watching. See how we do there. And if we take that out, there's a very high degree chance that we're going to probably probe lower. And timing wise, we talked about the timing. Yeah, that's about it. You want to add anything to that, or was that?
No,
okay?
I think that's great coverage. Great work. I I'm seeing, just in the shorter term stuff, potential for one more push higher, but it could also fail and we head right down. So you just got to watch these levels.
Yeah. So we got to really watch this 44.5. This zone here is a key level to watch. If we can take that out, then I think, we got a much bigger move coming. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's possible that we kind of sort of do some consolidation or maybe a quick retest, a lower high, and then go lower. Mm. So you can tell by just my mood, right? I'm not looking for new highs next week.
You don't have your buy the dip hat on, that's for sure.
No, not right now. So how that goes. All right, move it on to bonds. We called out this 180 day move from high to low, and we came pretty close to 90, and 146 was almost hit on that move down. So it was possible that we finished that cycle, and we were looking for a little bit of a bounce, and we sort of got that. We got a little bit of a bounce.
We definitely saw a change. in the
yeah, there was definitely a change, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So going into next week, I think if we can hold above 148 and clear 150, the real resistance is going to be around 153.5. Okay, that's super simple. So we have about a 3.5 point upside if we take out 150. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, support is 148. Taking a look at the weekly bonds. What I'm looking for is maybe 1 week, one more week, one more couple more, maybe 1 or 2 week counter trend here, and then come back down, because we had 2 weeks up here. See that? Mm-hmm. And down 3 weeks. So it's possible that we have 1 more week up and then turn down. We can use the levels that we talked about for the daily. For here, we're kind of hanging in midair. So it's possible that we go up and test it's 152.5 basis weekly, or the daily numbers. For now, I'm looking for a little bit of a counter trend, so you gotta have to play it carefully. Other than that, we've been doing sort of 7-week counter trends all the way. So the fact that we only did 2 weeks last time, it's getting weaker. So the bonds are overall weak still. And so this counter trend will tell us sort of the health. And I'm really looking for 1 or 2 weeks, no more than 3 weeks max. So we'll see how that goes. Mm-hmm. So that would be bonds. I gave you guys the numbers.
Yeah, with bonds, I'm of the mind we're just looking for another space to short it based on, monthly weeklies that are so negative.
Right.
Another setup if we can get it.
And looking at the crude, it sure looks like it kind of blew off up here, going into that latest high. But I'm not so sure. So,
look at the consolidation, man. It's bullish. Mm-hmm. So not short term, but bigger picture, it's bullish.
Yeah, bigger picture is bullish. I think it's probably going to be weak next week. But the key thing here is to see if we can hold above this 97. I think holding above 97 is actually very bullish. And this is a zone we were watching, last couple of weeks to see if we can hold above that. It's on firm ground. I really think not above 97 is very bullish. And above 91, it's very firm, because that's really where the 72 comes in. So I think it's a good area to watch. And it's probably going to be soft for a little while. See, the 72 off the low is right there, right? So between 97, right in there, it's still very bullish. And even if it comes down to 91, I think it's still on firm ground, and that would be the place to come and chase any stops that are sitting on the March lows. So I would say you have to be careful trading this next week, just to wait, to confirm we came into some kind of support. And again, 91 and 97, we're going to continue to use. If we get down to 91, it could definitely be a good flush, and that would be a really good spot to look for opportunities for the long
Barrie, There's an ABC down that targets right around like 79.80. And even that, if they could push it that much, I don't know what would do it, but if they pushed it that much, look to the left, it's still bullish. I mean, you're just sitting on top of those hot
Yeah, even if
October,
we get down
November
here.
high, or yeah.
Well,
So
if it gets down there, it's definitely going to change the dynamics here time wise. It'll be much more of an extended, we'll have to spend a lot more time trying to get higher.
Yep.
So yeah, that's possible. We got to keep an eye on that. In the meantime, above 97, very bullish. 91 is firm ground. And, what I would like to see, hopefully not in the middle of the night, would be a false break here.
Yeah, that would be great, huh?
And then a tap in and then a rally. So we'll see how that works out.
It's got a similar pattern to Nat Gas that I'm going to go over, but Nat Gas has done its big correction and pullback, and it's starting to move higher. But I'll point it out when we get there.
Yeah, I mean, chart wise, it's looking super healthy. I was looking at that. So this is the weekly crude, and that 97 level comes off of this chart. It's right there, right around that 90 degrees up from the all-time lows. So this is why I'm saying, long as we're hanging above the square of 90 coming off the weekly charts, crude's in a really firm spot. It's in a good spot. And, like commodities usually do, it's possible we come down here, get everybody off balance and then start again. But now you guys know what to watch for. It's 97 and then 91 is right about there. So above those levels, the market's in pretty good shape. So that's crude. Let's take a look at gold. Well, gold's taking a pause, but at a very strong level. So,
I mean, look at that structure. Perfect.
Yeah, we drew in this box a couple 3 weeks back, calling this 1915, 1940 area to be a fairly good support resistance level, and if the market can hold above this, that gold's in a fairly firm spot. And above 1940, I would call it actually strong, can hang about that. So when we say hold above a line, this is what we're really talking about. You can see how, if you look at the 1915, which is a blue dotted line, the bottom of the box, see how we're holding above that? That's the idea, right? And the quick drop we had, it held above 1887, which was a level we had prior to that. So the levels are really sticking, having pretty good traction. We came down here, bounced up. So now, if we can hold about 1915 and start turning higher, it's possible we try to maybe find a sort of a value spot above 1940, 1950 and start settling up here. And that would get it set up for another leg higher. Anything you want to add there, Ben?
I'm going to talk about gold. So yeah, I agree with you, and I'll just show you my view because I think it's setting up for the move coming up.
Yeah, well, long as it's hanging above, above 1915, it's sort of refueling.
Exactly. Yep.
And looking at a weekly gold.
Look at that, man, sitting right on top of your box.
And I remember looking at this for weeks and weeks and not having much to say.
Right.
But it's funny how within a month, everything worked out after, a whole year of setting up.
Yeah, no question.
So basis weekly, we had this other box drawn up here. It's 1880 and 1919 on the upside. Again, it's the same idea. We do these boxes just to make it easier to sort of frame price action. So we're looking for gold to be basically in a strong position above 1880 and even stronger above 1919. And you can see all the opens and closes are above that level, right? 1919, and anything below that are just quick dips that are getting bought up. See that?
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely something to the number, and if we can sort of hang around up here, I think our ultimate target still might get hit before long, maybe even this month. We'll see.
That'd be great.
Yeah, 2100.
You know what I heard someone say this week, that gold had the highest quarterly close in its history this quarter.
Quarterly close. What does that mean?
When the closing price at the end of a quarter was higher this
Oh,
quarter,
I see. Okay, highest quarterly close. Got it.
yeah, than any time in history. So while it's may boring, it seems to be heating up.
No, gold's not going anywhere.
I
For
agree.
a while.
Agreed.
So, all that price action that we just looked at, all this basing, this is not the end result of it. We're just getting started, I think. So we have to be patient and let the market sort of.
It's testing the base now. That's all.
Yeah, set up the timing. This is just, this is not the breakout we were waiting for.
Right.
It's coming. All right, looking at the dollar, boy, that 101 area really looked good. And there's still a shot that we go up and tap that. I would love it if that happened. That would really help kind of finish up this phase. Till then, looks like we're going to consolidate up in this area. We got a 3/4 square around 97.5. The old highs here. Actually, I should probably redraw this box just to make it easier.
I mean, that triangle and that consolidation is happening right on top of those previous highs.
Yeah.
It's not bearish.
No, this is all very bullish. And, I thought when we broke it, what was it, Sunday or Monday? I thought, wow, we're going to go and tap it. But no, came back and flushed it out. So,
Right.
Now we'll have to wait. So we regained it fairly quickly, right? 1-2 days. And now we have to see if we can take out 99 or if we're just going to sort of consolidate here and buy some time. You can see we're going perfectly sideways on the dollar, right? So there's definitely, can't say there's no management of that.
Right.
And looking at the weekly dollar, I was looking at the, it's good to go back and look at the, use the squares as a template to see where things are. And I just happened to put it today and look at this, we're 1,080.
Right at a critical spot.
Weeks from the high here, 2001 high. And, that high to the low in 2008 was, 360 bars. No joke there, right? And then from that low to this high was 700, another 360. At another 90, we got the high there. So there's definitely a vibration of these 90s and 360s moving through here. And so we had that 1080 coming up here. So it's possible that we have something, we're close to some kind of a high in the dollar. Okay. And also we're doing 45 weeks, So when we do 45 weeks, it's possible that we go, 46 weeks. So next 2 weeks, we have to watch this. And we did a really nice run up into that 45-week high. So, we might be done for a while.
It's no joke. 45 weeks, no joke.
This is serious business here. So just we need to remember that for the dollar, right? We've been bullish, but now after 45 weeks of being bullish, we have to pause for a bit to see what the pattern's going to be here. Now we'll do a little bit more on the dollar next time after the 45th week comes in.
That's a good look, man. Timing wise, that's a really good look.
And also from 2017 high, we're at 270 weeks. So there's a lot of counts coming in and not to be ignored. So that's what we're talking about. And anyway, that's something to note. That's the weekly. And let's take a look at the euro. Well, euro hit our support, this 1080 a while back. And we were expecting a retest of the big resistance zone. And we did come up into that last week. I guess that's about as well, strong as it can be. And so I'm looking for, further weakness or some kind of a consolidation like we've been doing, because dollar's been pretty much doing the same thing. So not much here. I think we're kind of on a holding pattern for now. So there are definitely better places to be playing. So, and the Euro weekly, same thing. We have this resistance box up here, kind of came right into it. It's and sold off strong in a big way. Again, for next week, I'm looking for it to be weak. Maybe not anything huge, but probably chop. We'll see.
Probably.
Yeah, not much, but it's definitely on the weak side. You got to watch your intraday numbers and levels. This is where it goes, and we're pretty close to this. The lower side of the fork here, which we haven't tapped yet. So it's possible we go. If the dollar can go up and tap that 101, maybe the euro could tap the the 90 down here, or the lower fork, and be done with
Be
this
nice
one.
if it could be so clean, huh?
Yeah. Well,
We can wish.
yeah. But you see, look at this. This is not exactly 90, but 86. 86 week runs.
It's
Right?
in the neighborhood.
Yeah. So it's 87, 85, 87. So it's in the neighborhood. They happen. Well, that's it. Let me put it back to you. Cover the commodities and.
Well done.
Thanks.
Good work.
Thanks. All right.
There's the NQs.
Tell you what, Ben, you can't beat those, prices just stopping right at the hard squares, eh?
It was beautiful. Last week on the video, we were right here. We talked about, listen, odds favor since we held above this half square that we're going to come up and hit this. And there's the tap.
Yeah.
Hit it, reversed. Also, right near the half square in terms of timing as well. Is that it? It's possible. Looking at the lower time frames, we could have one more push up. Maybe it gets up in here, does a little bit of a false break.
Yeah, that's the only flying the ointment. It would have been great to see a false break up here.
Yeah, exactly. If we could have gotten it right there, that would have been perfect. So maybe we get another push up Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and get that false break. Tap this, 1 by 2, and then roll over. But right now, as long as we're below this, this 15.2 area, call it 15,200. As long as we're below that, the pressure's coming to here, which is around 14.6, 14.5. And if we lose that, then we're down here at the full square. So the big question, just like you had when you were reviewing the ES, is, is this it for this swing? And have we rolled over? Or are we going to pull back and maybe hold this half square and then go up and try and push one more time? We'll have to see as price action evolves this week. We're coming into timing, as I said, middle of the week. So wouldn't be surprised if we pushed up, tested here again, maybe did a false break, but we'll just see how it plays out. For now, the rally got stopped here. Structurally, that was a good spot. You had our square resistance there, and it got a reaction off of it. So we'll see how it plays. I know you look at some of the components of the NQs. You got anything else to add here?
It's all weak. That's what I have to add. I think, it's just, play the downside. That's all I have to add.
I'm with you. Okay, first commodity we're going to cover is gold. Let's take a look at gold. Barrie alluded to, how gold looks bullish. This spike up we had is not it. It's just kind of getting started coming out of this base. And I'm going to show you why I agree. First of all, we've been tracking gold and this whole consolidation for 18 months or so. Then we started getting these series of higher lows with higher highs. We said, okay, it's getting ready. This was the launch pad holding the full square. We get the move up. Half square stopped it. What's interesting now is this whole consolidation, and you can see we're kind of triangulating here in this little triangle. It's all happening above this half square. where most of the price action has been since the beginning of 2021. That's really bullish. If we can stay above this half square, there is nothing bearish about gold. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm super bullish is we've got this breakout. The only thing they've been able to do so far on the downside, the bears have, is get these spikes, which are still holding above the half square, with over a year and a quarter's worth of price action basically below it. So I'm bullish on gold. I think you can, either buy on a pullback to here, to the trend line, to the half square, or if you're the person who likes to buy breakouts, you can buy the breakout of this small triangle. I think gold is bullish. To me, it's a matter of not if it's going to break out, but when we're going to get that move. So really, really like the way gold is acting. When you talk about gold, you also talk about silver.
Mhm.
Silver looks the same. It's not performing as dramatically as gold. You can see the spike was not as large, but it's a similar structure, right? We've been going sideways for a long period of time. We started this series of higher lows, and now we're consolidating in a triangle. I think the key level here for the breakout for me is not so much this triangle, but this full square, which again, the levels are listed in the spreadsheet, but this one's, or call it 2551, 2552 area. We can break out above that and hold on top of it. Then just like gold, it'll have, a month, multi-month consolidation below it. And that's really what silver's working on right now, to get, another push, stay on top here, and then we can attack, these highs, from last year in February, around 29.30. But I'm really, really bullish on silver. Like the way it looks. It's just the pattern is a little bit behind gold in terms of time, but it's a similar setup for sort of an explosive move higher. What are your thoughts on silver, Barrie?
I think it's the same boat as gold. It's holding in the proper area, but I think it's a long-term play. So you have to be patient to pick and choose your places to, place your bets. And this correction looks like it's pretty much over. So we'll have to keep monitoring that. But long-term, yeah, if these levels hold, I think we have upside left.
Absolutely. Hi-ho silver.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to the next one. Nat gas. This is one we've been talking about, I don't know what, 3 weeks now, maybe 3 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, we brought it up on the show about, hey,
Yep.
The pattern was
Mm-hmm.
unfolding. Looks like we could get a decent move up. I think we were like right in this area here when we talked about it, somewhere around this half square. Or it may have been the full square. I don't recall exactly, but somewhere in here, we were saying the pattern's unfolding. Remember the crude pattern you were talking about, Barrie, where we had the spike, and then crude was sort of doing this crude's right about here, right? It's had a lower high and it's pulling back and it's sort of,
Yep.
triangulating in here. If nat gas is sort of a precursor to what's going to happen to crude, there'll be a flush and then we go again.
Wire, right.
So the interesting thing this week, why I wanted to point it out, if you're long, we held above the half square, closed above the half square on Friday in the 568, 569 area. As long as we're above that, it's the September, October highs we're going to challenge. So, and with the momentum built up, should got a good shot at taking these highs out. So gas is playing out nicely. I wanted to show it from a progress standpoint, but also as a sort of maybe a precursor to what's going to happen with crude. Maybe it doesn't take as long. I mean, this was what, a 4-month, 5-month correction. Maybe crude does it in a month or two, but similar pattern. And a lot of the commodities have that pattern. Speaking of one we're not going to cover, but which we had covered, we covered cotton last few weeks. It hit the target it's beginning to correct. So for anybody who's involved in cotton, we did hit our target. You want to tighten your stops or look at good spots to take profits there. Let's take a look at a few softs. Believe it or not, some of the softs are now coming around. Sugar's one we haven't talked about in a while. The reason being is we've been doing this mess for the last 7, 8, 9 months. But what started happening here? You can see at this time frame we were putting in lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. Well, that changed in February, right? We put in a low, moved up, higher low, moved up, higher low, held a full square, and now we're sort of triangulating in here. This looks like a market that's ready to break out, and the breakout, as long as we're above this full square, is going to be to the upside. I mean, look at how tight this week was in here, where it was just bang, 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 bang.
Yeah,
I mean, it's knocking on the door, and the door is going to give way soon, I think. So I think sugar's set up. It looks good. Short-term targets there, just like we had those 140 targets in cotton. I'm looking at like around 2090, 21. Those are kind of the targets here, and that puts us up. Full square is 2054, so 2090 would be like up an eighth, up a quarter, up in here. So that's both the triangle and I think it's triangle target essentially. So sugar looks good. What are your thoughts? I know you've been tracking sugar with me through this whole painful period of nothing.
Yeah. Well, sugar and coffee. So I think coffee might be following.
Guess what we're going to do next?
You're going to look at coffee. All right.
Yeah.
But well, all of these things are long-term bullish. We've been talking about that for the last couple of years. So, you have to use these pullbacks to build up the position. And I think, that's just the way to go as far as I can see. I mean, this is sort of with that square overlaid, it's almost too easy. Right?
Yeah, the square really helps you frame the price.
The deal here is you do have an ABC target that's setting up.
Yep. But that's what gets us, I think, to 2087 is the ABC.
But if that higher, the square above goes, and we break through there, that'll set up an entire new level to base. So that's a big deal. So let's see how that works out.
Yeah, keep a close eye on sugar this week. And the last one we'll look at today, the aforementioned coffee. You and I were talking about this as it was coming into this low, and we were saying, hey, we got to watch it. This is a really important level for multiple reasons. Main reason is you got a square, but if you look left, it's the highs from October, it's the highs from July. Holding that is extremely bullish. Well, look what it's doing.
Exactly.
It's holding them. We broke through this downtrend line. The key level for me is this half square, which is at about 2231. We can get above that and sit on top, because right here you're doing a small little ABC, as you can see. But if we can sit on top of this half square, then it's all-time highs again. You got to look at the upper part of the square, which is 250, and then up in here, which is around 270, 280. So coffee looks really, really good in that this has held now multiple times. And again, like sugar banging on the roof, this thing was banging on the floor, trying to see if it could break through all week, and it couldn't. The buyers just kept stepping in. So coffee looks bullish. I know you were all over coffee a couple weeks ago saying, hey, man, we got to watch coffee. Anything changed in your view?
No, we're in coffee.
That's right.
So no, coffee's good. I think it's a good spot. I mean, you can't, if you look at the structure and if you're going to use the squares as sort of a framing, I can't think of a better setup than this.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Coffee looks good, and I think both it and sugar this week we could see some fireworks. Also, it's the beginning of a new month, so we'll most likely tomorrow be recording the monthly monthly chart review. And that's always helpful, for me and hopefully for you all to sort of get that bigger picture view and know, what's the major trend? Where's the major wind blowing? Is it blowing for, a bullish outcome or a bearish outcome? And, having that perspective really helps me, frame the shorter time frames. I know you feel similarly, Barrie. You want to share with them how you use the monthlies?
Well, exactly the same way. I look at monthlies, I look at weeklies, and it's just to make sure that you don't get tangled up in the daily volatility and the noise. So, and once you start watching those monthly highs and lows, it's very easy to figure out the longer term. And that's really all it is.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, everybody, have a great week. Cycle wise, it's a big week, so we'll see what happens midweek. We got all the levels in the spreadsheet, so make sure you check the spreadsheet when we post that. And have a great trading week. Same to you, Barrie. Have a great trading week, and let's see if we can get them again this week.
Good job, Ben. Thanks. Have a good
All
week,
right.
everybody.
See ya.
Bye-bye.